right. So, um, thank you so much for that. And let's say, um, because you guys were introduced about yourself and your business that you're doing.
Yeah.
So, what was the issue that you have when you before you know voice being? What is difficulties?
Sure. Yeah. I think we run with lots of issues because, well, apart from the culture, the language is so important, especially when you have. So I speak obviously French, but English and Japanese. But Misa does not really speak French, or so when we would go to France to buy items or to discuss with the brands, maybe she would get some frustration for not being able to express herself, and me trying to translate would take maybe twice as much time as needed. So an hour would take maybe 2 hours and so on. So for everybody it's maybe not very efficient. So this is one of the issues that we had for a long time.
Long time. で喋らないから何も考えてないと思われることが多いんですよ。だけどものすごくいろいろ考えてきてるし、すごく言いたいことがあっても母国ではここまで喋れるのに、でも英語だとまずそうですね、半分、フランス語だとほとんどないっていうことですごいフラストレーションをためて仕事を始めてからずっとそれが課題でした。
そうだからいろいろね結構試したんだけど、やっぱ例えばこのね携帯にあるの翻訳。If there is a translation app, then you can always show it. But it doesn't feel natural. It's like, oh, let me see, how do I say this? Okay, does that make sense to you? And then the person will be, oh yeah, but maybe that's something different. So then came new technologies, AI and everything. But even now, I think with AI, it feels like people are like, oh, AI, but does it actually work? Maybe you have like so many people who say, oh yeah, everybody's betting on AI. But does that work? Well, now we can tell you, yeah, we've tried one and that does work. But it was a long process, because the company was established in 2012 and now it's 2023. The technology has evolved, but it took a while.
今教育のコンサルティングもやってるんですが、やっぱりこの日本人が喋れないっていうのに危惧してる両親たちはもうすぐインターナショナルスクールに入れたいからって来るんですよ。すごく増えてます。ただそれの問題ってインターナショナルスクールに行くと母国語がですね、日本語の能力が落ちるんですよ。要は 100% 日本語と 100% 英語 200% 勉強してくれるんだったら両方ともネイティブスピーカーになるんですけど、日本語の語彙も半減、英語の語彙も半分しかいかないってなると、思ったことがうまく母国語でも英語でも喋れない。すごくそれってミックスのすごく難しいことで、だったら私今日本語の教育をもうちょっとちゃんとやろうねっていうのを小さい子とお父さんとお母さんに言ってるんですが、日本語で語彙を増やして精神的に深さをちゃんと作って母国語で言いたいことを言えるようにまずする。でそれでもし万が一英語を学ぶような留学したりする経験で同じようなぐらい英語で話せればいいですけど、もしそういう時間もない、もうお金もない、そういう英語をそこまで学ぶことができないっていう人たちも考えてることがこれだけあるなら、このような自動 AI のシステムを通じて世界に発信していくっていうのが可能であれば、ものすごく日本人の未来が開けるんじゃないかなと思いました。
Well, that's I think especially right now for Japanese students, right? The ranking of the English language is quite dropping right now. Right? And it is very difficult to solve this issue in short terms, right? And it's also especially so for the events that we had, right? And I heard that there's a lot of students. They give a lot of compliment to voice being app that they use in the event. So maybe you guys can let our audience know a little bit about the events that we hold, and what is the issue, and like how do you guys really struggling before the events, right?
Yeah. So we've been working hard with a core team of volunteers based mostly in the States.
Yeah.
So it's an IT event. It's about a decentralized protocol called Noster. Noster stands for Notes and Other Stuff Transmitted by Relays.
Oh.
So it's just there has been a centralization of information. So like for example, you have Facebook silos owned by Zuckerberg. You have now X owned by Elon Musk. But nothing is really like interconnected, or when you stay in Facebook, you are in Facebook, right? So the idea is to decentralize the possibilities of information. And so for that, we were having a conference called Nostrasia. So we had to prepare it. And during the process, we thought that because it was in Japan, it was very important for Japanese customers, or at least attendees, that they could understand the speakers, because most of them are from the States, or at least they would speak in English. And we went through another, another software, which I won't name it, but it was quite expensive.
Yeah.
So we said, no, there's no way that we can afford this. Then we checked also a Japanese company, but it was too expensive as well. And Misa, basically, out of, she's been digging and she found you, and she found VoiceBig. And we actually, so the conference was from November 1st to November 3rd. The setting was on the 31st of October, and we discovered it on the 25th or 4th, something like that.
Yeah.
And we tested, with the computer and the iPhone and making sure that it would work.
Yeah.
And it was working, so I sent the video to the American team and said, well, we might have a lead with that. And then Misa contacted you and everything, and we said, okay, let's try. So for that, it was actually simple, because we needed one computer.
Yeah.
We need a capture device.
Yeah.
Then a mic and a cable to go through and then that was almost it.
Yeah.
So the speaker would talk, and basically we would get the input from the mic directly into the computer, and then it would appear. Just have to push one button, and then that was it. And it was fantastic, because normally you would say, okay, well, maybe I need to prepare and I need to make sure that everything. I know that you have helped us a lot, because you input the words. There are specific words.
それが素晴らしいと思います。業界によく使う言葉を事前に準備して入力するときちんとした。もうこれはもうね、すごいなと思って。
Yeah, because then you can calibrate, you can configure the software. Really, for example, if you're using medical devices, I have no idea about medical devices. But if you put the list of words, then I'll make sure that, oh, I get it, now I understand. If you want to talk about, hyperconnectivity of something, then chemical things, compound and stuff, then you'll make sure that the list is ready and it's going to be okay. If you want to talk about retail, it's going to be the same, marketing and so on. So we were very, everybody was very happy about it, because they just had to flash the QR code, get their phone, and the speaker would actually deliver their topic, and people were just like, oh, okay, very interesting. And the Japanese people were really excited about it, because finally they could understand, but also they could really participate without any friction. And that was
一
a great
番
thing.
観客が多かった登壇の時間に半分以上が日本人だったんですね。
はい
で、何の質問もなくね、もうみんなそこの QR コード読んで入れて聞く。わかんないっていうことは一切なく、みんなスムーズにで、初めてこんなのっていう声がやっぱり上がってました。
Yeah, there was the core topic with the event was Edward Snowden and Jack Dorsey. So both were, Jack Dorsey was actually interviewing remotely Edward Snowden. And so we as English speakers, that's okay because we understand, but for the people who are not native in English, then they were able to actually understand it. Therefore the Japanese community was just really excited.
Yes.
and
本
grateful
当
about
に、
it.
来てよかったって言ってましたから。
So yeah, everybody was just and Jack was very impressed about like the whole thing because I was showing him and he was like, well damn, it's working and that's great. So that was I think it was a good point for you guys.
Yeah, that's real. That was very how can I say? That was way much better than we actually expected. Like even like like how many people that participate in the events?
We were about like at the peak we were 500 something like that. Yeah.
So was that also both offline and I also saw like the video streaming on YouTube, right?
Yeah. There's been I haven't checked the count, but the video with Edward Snowden and Jack Dorsey, I don't know, it has already like 10,000. I haven't checked.
That's actually like 15,000. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, because it's still a niche. It's a niche topic, Not everybody's interested in decentralization, in censorship resistance. So it's a niche topic, but it was great that the Japanese community could actually take, part of it and be part of it, and not only just like be sitting and wait until maybe they can have like subtitles or anything, but they really had the subtitles in real time on their phone. So I think that was great. Yeah.
すごいいい経験。
And I believe it could work. Obviously, that works for small meetings, but for bigger events, maybe for I don't know, different industries, right?
Yeah.
So retail, medical field, whatever, you name it.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so about in terms of as you guys as event organizer, and you guys communicate with the system teams, right? The IT and tech team.
Yeah.
So when they try to set it up, so is it like simple to set up voice ping?
Yeah, it was definitely super simple as long as you had the proper cables and everything, but it doesn't require so
ま
much.
あ、私なんか全くそうシステムに強くない人間からしたら、こう人が喋っているマイクの音を拾って翻訳するっていうところはサイトを読んで分かったんです。ただ向こうの音響チームに何回も聞こえたのが、マイクからなんていうんですかね、アンプを通った音をパソコンに入れて、それが機能するのかどうか、ミサどうなのっていうところを聞かれると、そこが保証できなくって、最初私にはね。で、教えて、それはね、音響の日本の会社の人にも聞いたんですよ。そしたら、エクセラ
そう、エクセラだからマイクからにも、so you would plug
HDMI と USB がつながっているケーブルさえあればできますって。
Yeah, because then you just need to plug it into either the computer or either we used I don't know if we can tell the brands, but it was a device made by Roland called a Quadra Capture. So it's very easy to just plug and play.
それがあれば本当に挿してアプリ立ち上げて、はいドン。もう向こうの音響チームはびっくりしすぎて、っていう感じですよ。こんなに簡単なのって。だからもう。
There's one thing they wanted to do, but it was very difficult because we didn't have time. We were thinking of putting the actual subtitles on the screen with the projector, but because it was live streaming, because it was so many, like different elements. And we had not rehearsed. It was just on the go. That was something we were not able to achieve. So that's a little bit of one of our regrets. Nevertheless, because we were able, because you guys, reached the cap of people being able to scan the QR code, it was like, okay, well, you don't need a projector as long as you have it.
もし画面に出してたら多分1カ国語になりますよね。
そうですね。
でも世界で同時配信してるから、スペイン語で見たい人とかチャイニーズ自分で選べていくっていうのはもうこれは画期的で。
It's even better.
であまりにも手続きが簡単だからみんな本当に大丈夫って思うでしょうけど、本当に大丈夫っていうところをなんとか伝えていきたい。
And I remember sometimes we forgot to switch off the mic. So we were talking like, who wants orange juices? And you were like,
yeah, true.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, so because as I mentioned for events, normally for the translation to work, it requires a lot of extra monitor for to show the
Mm-hmm.
subtitles, or they need to have like it's like the
Media
translator.
monitor, receivers. Yeah.
And also like hiring like additional like human
Yes.
like interpreter, right?
Yeah, the costs are increasing because basically you need a booth, you need to have translators, you have to somebody who can operate the actual console and booth. Then, as I said, you need the translators. Then you need the receivers for everybody to listen.
Yeah.
So it's a huge logistic friction and added cost. And if you can collapse everything into your iPhone or your phone in your hand.
しかも一カ国語ですからね。一
Yeah.
つの言葉しかできないじゃん。
You know, it reminds me like when we had photo albums long time ago. And now, so we would pile them in the house.
True.
But now you have like 100,000 of pictures in the palm of your hand. You can have books, and now you have translators here in the palm of your hand. And so everything collapsed digitally into this. And I think it's just it's amazing to see the technology evolve so fast and to know that it's actually possible. And it doesn't cost millions and millions and millions.
I understand that. Yeah. Well, actually, a lot of our customers they also say that hiring translation. I mean, like people, right? Like interpreter. Yes, of course, there may be that they prefer like human, like face human voice, right? But then still, it takes two more times, right? And
resources.
And even that, if they are doing the job right, but they don't understand the business, they cannot translate it all.
Yeah. So they need to, for example, if you have a conference, they need to have the speakers. Keynote sent to them so they can read first, get acquainted with the words. So, but you have to pay because it's extra words. It's like pre-production, right? So you would have pre-production, production during the event, and eventually, and this is where I think it's also great, is you are able to get all the subtitles, so you can use them again for your YouTube video.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Whereas if you were to translate, nothing is left. So that's added value completely, because then you can do shortcuts of 5 minutes talk, and then just put the subtitle, and this is just great added value, I think, compared to. I like people. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I like people, and I think it's great.
今回もちょっとパーティータイムレセプションの中でね、マグロの解体ショーっていうのやったんですよ。知ってます？マグロを担いできて、日本のこうさばきながらやるショーなんですけど、それでちゃんと食べられるお寿司みたいな。それを実況中継する人は、人間で綺麗なね女性だったけれども、ネイティブスピーカー、日本語も英語も喋れる。で、ライブをその場で同時通訳するっていうのは盛り上がり。それはすごく日本になんていうかな、人のすごく良さが出てた。
I think translators or anything they won't disappear, but they could be also translators and entertainers. For an event, for example, because you have the human touch. Whereas with AI, you lack maybe it's more technicals, more details. It's very accurate, but you don't have like somebody who's raw, just raising the voices or like feeling high or excited. So I mean, it's different.
Yeah, I think that's great because right now there are some interpreters using voice mail because sometimes, for example, when they try for the events that. So they already have an interpreter, but they just want to set the cost for the translator, right? They just get a QR code, and the translator they can talk and they can listen or see the subtitles from the translator. So for our system, we don't really want to say that we want to replace interpreter, but we want to improve the whole translation system in events, in business, in shopping mall, and make it more like like for people to really enjoy what they are doing.
Yeah, and frictionless.
Yeah, right. They don't like we shouldn't be too frustrated about language, right? We have all of the amazing technology, but still language is still there,
Yeah.
right? Like someone needs to solve it. Yeah. All right. So I think all of my questions here, you guys all answered already.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
I mean, like for the people who are watching the videos, you already know VoiceBing is just a great example of a technology that provides value to human beings. And instead of being fearful or wondering, just try it. Just try, and eventually, if you like it, it could become an extension of your own business. With the meetings, with the conference, with we could imagine like department stores welcoming tourists. We could imagine like whatever, in tourism, hospitality. And I think you're doing a great job with that. Now, Misa was saying, probably when people say, "Oh, AI translation," oh yeah, you mean VoiceBing? Like. You would say, "Oh, tissues." Oh yeah, Kleenex.
Yes,
and so on. You've been Uberized or something like that. So this is, I think, the company is still new, is still fresh and everything, and there's so much to do for the Japanese market, but also for abroad. You don't need to obviously be entitled to Japan because there are so many opportunities in the world. So I wish you all the best, definitely.
でも世界中で日本ほどこのボイスピーのこういうシステムを必要としている国は私はないと思う。こんなに英語があまり上手じゃない人たちが集まっている国はないし、その割にものすごくいいことを考えてたり。
Also France.
Also France. フランスはね、全部ね、ハリウッドの英語がね、映画がね、フランス語に。
Yeah, for example, we watched the movies in France. We watched them dubbed. So Tom Cruise would say bonjour, c'est moi, c'est Tom Cruise. And I think if you, for example, I used to live in Belgium. In Belgium, they leave the original version. So Tom Cruise is like, "Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Tom Cruise," right?
Yeah.
But you have subtitles in two languages.
Yes.
You have it in French and you have it in Flemish. Well, it's a sort of Dutch. Yeah. And that is great for first because you need to be focused to read, but also you hear English. Whereas in France, it's just like, "Oh, bonjour les gars, ça va? Oui, ok, allez, on va." So it's very different, I think. And there are so many countries like that who would gain benefit from such an app.
Well, that was a very good wrap.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap. And okay, so maybe final question. So, do you guys want to have to share, to give our audience about what do you want to do in the future, like in terms of your business? Because it is a chance to get a little bit PR.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate. Do you wanna go? Well, so Misa is in the educational business, mainly coaching mothers, but also kids. Because some people they don't know how to handle kids, or so this is where she intervened, and she's got great feedback. So we were thinking it would be great, not only in Japan, but also with this mentality, with this perspective, maybe to go abroad or something like this. That would be interesting. As for the business, we're still in the retail business as well as consulting. So if people want to know more about Japan and how to the retail works in Japan, they could contact us. There are many other companies. We are small but very flexible, and we can do meetings with a VoiceBing, and even I think even us being in Japan, trying to introduce VoiceBing in a more maybe you're specialized in B2B, but maybe in a more B2C fashion where people could say, "Oh yeah, now I know this app." Maybe it could be something, I don't know, but that's about it for us.
Yes. 言ってくれたんで。ありがとう。
All right. Then I think maybe that's A second rap.
Yeah, it's a second rap. We're becoming rappers.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
おはよう。
ありがとうございます。
おはよう。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.